I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm bad.
All right, so this is a very, very, very exciting thing for me. I have been looking for land for about 3.5 years while living tiny, trying to call all of these zoning offices and working with about 6 different realtors. I told myself in the beginning of my journey that I was going to have my land by the spring of 2022 after I moved my house from Georgia to Tennessee. As you guys know, I did kind of rearrange my tiny house dream. If I got land, I wasn't going to add the Airbnbs and the monthly spots. Maybe I can add Airbnbs later. I got the last land that I looked at. You guys should have seen that in the video a couple of videos back. The third property that I looked at, that is the land that I purchased. I close on March 30th of 2022. And I move in on April 9th. By the time this video airs, I will already be there. I have been keeping it a secret for a few different reasons. Because I have some of my progress that I still have to share with you guys, that's why this video is being done today, and I'm already in my land. All right, let's go through some of the details. So it is 3.81 acres. Most of it is mowed down. It's got a few scattered trees in the middle. There is an outline of trees that basically shows my property and divides my property with the next property. That gives me some privacy. I am really glad that I don't have to have it mowed down because that would have cost me extra money just to have all those trees mowed down, but it's a really, really cute area. It also has a single wide trailer on it. Now, this single wide trailer was built in 2002, so it has been up for 20 years. It's not that old, and it was in really great condition. They cleaned it before the showing. I had an inspection done. Now, this single wide trailer has a huge living room. It's got a couple outdated things in it, like the wallpaper and the carpet. There's also a mirrored fan that's on the ceilings. There are going to be a lot of projects that I am going to be doing to replace a lot of this. There is a kitchen in this single wide, and on the other side of the kitchen, there is a bathroom, a spot for a washer dryer, and then there's 2 rooms. There's a small bedroom and a bigger bedroom. Okay, so plans for this single wide. Since changing my plan and buying the land, I wanted to reconfigure my dream inside of what I purchased. In this single wide, I'm going to split it. I'm going to have walls built in the kitchen, so the kitchen towards the bedrooms and then the kitchen towards the living room. The living room is going to be my new workplace, so I'm going to be moving this entire office out of here and putting it in that living room, which will also have access to the kitchen where I can then make my products and store some of my other work products. When I do have guests, I can close off my door, and that kitchen will also be able to be used for the guest side. So they'll have their own door. They could close it off when they're sleeping at night, and they can use the kitchen during the day. There is also a door that is connected to the guest side part of the house, so they'll have their own private entrance if I do have family or friends stay. And then the office part also has its own private entrance, but it also has a patio door with a wheelchair accessible ramp that goes up it. I will be working in that space. I'm going to be keeping my desk inside my office so that I can work on the computer and promote here, because I do realize that I'm no longer going to be by my cats all day. All right, moving on to the washer dryer part. So that was going to be another building that I brought on if I didn't have a building on the land already to accommodate that. That shed conversion was going to be half for my golf cart and half for laundry for either guests and myself. But now that I have this house and the laundry can go inside the house, I do not need that other shed conversions. This land actually worked out really great. Let's now move to the bathroom. The bathroom can be used for either the guests or when I'm in there working. Depending on how my guest situation goes from here on out, I'd feel much more comfortable having guests in, like, on my own land, because there's just a lot more room. You know, right now I'm in a tiny house and the space that's in my house is just not enough room for a guest to stay. It used to be, but I kind of took over with all my business stuff. Now that I have this extra space, I could either make it into a family. One of my family members comes and they have kids, they can have 2 rooms. Or if, say, one friend comes, then they could use one of the bedrooms and then the other bedroom as whatever. Now, included in this sale was utilities are already included. The house is hooked up to electric, septic, and water. In this location, I'm getting city water. And when my tiny house went there, I actually had to hook it up temporarily until I had a plumber come and put lines underneath to my house. So that is the plan for that. Same with the electricity. We temporarily added a 50 amp box to hook my tiny house. Because the single wide is a 2-bedroom house, I believe it's a 2-bedroom septic. We don't know yet, but because I'm living there by myself and using my house, I will have my house connected to septic as well. And then I'm pretty much going to be the only one using all of the septic. So there isn't 2 people living there right now, but if I did have guests, then that septic could accommodate more people. I also saw something that looked like maybe natural gas on the outside of the house, and this probably works the 2 little heaters that I saw inside the house. There was one inside the barn and there was one inside the house. Speaking of the barn, let's go outside and check that out. That we're outside, there is a huge pole barn that's outside, and it looks like it could be used for 2 cars, but there's only one garage door there, so I'll be parking my car in there. The previous owners, or whoever inherited that house to the sellers, actually has a workbench in that barn, as well as a bunch of pegboards that are on the top. Now, if you guys can remember, when I lived back in the campground, I had a shed built and I had a workshop and pegboards up. And when I got rid of that, I was really sad. I said, when I got my land, I'm going to have another shed brought in and basically built just like it. But when I saw this land and it already had a barn on it with all the workshop on it, that is another building that I was able to eliminate that shed conversion that I was going to bring on if it didn't have it on there. Now I can put all of my tools up there and everything, all of my outside stuff I can put inside that pole barn and have a place for it instead of waiting for a shed conversion to come on and store it in there. Apparently this is a heated barn and it also has lights, so I am really grateful about that, because what's a workspace without lights and heat? Now, next to it is a little lean-to that's got an open space, and it looks perfect for my chickens. So the friends that I'm living with now, I am using one of their chicken coops, so I had no chicken coop when I got to my land. And what we did was we took a ride out there and fixed up the chicken coop in order for it to be ready by the time that I moved there. We closed off the sides and was able to give them a place to stay when I arrived there. We built roosting bars for them, and I'm going to be keeping these chickens in here for at least 2 weeks so they can get used to their new home. The travel with them was a little bit rough. I had them in the house and in a couple cages, and I mean, it went okay. They got here, but when chickens travel, they usually get scared, but everything worked out fine. So now they are in their new home. I had planned on building a chicken coop when I got to my land, but again, seeing as this lean-to was there and already set up to kind of look like a chicken coop already, and it's just a bigger place for them to hang out, lots more room. I don't think I need another chicken coop. Now, there was this extra 12-foot by 12-foot foundation that was on the land, and I could do so much stuff with this foundation. Of course, my 28-foot by 8-foot tiny house is not going to fit on that foundation, so I decided to just leave it open. I could build a little yoga deck. I could build a little shop maybe in the future, maybe if I set the land up for business use. I could use it as like put a little shed there and use it for more storage. I could do so many things with that little foundation, so I'm kind of glad that's there. It's a flat level surface for It's already down there and I could build whatever I want on it. And as I look around my land and how much I have, and it seems like I have so much privacy, I would really love to build paths throughout the green woods part of it, all of the flat stuff, so that I could drive my golf cart on there and say when guests are over, they can drive their golf cart on there. I might have a pond in the middle. I'll have a huge fire pit spot in the middle. Maybe down the line, I will open it up to Airbnbs. We'll be checking with the county first because there's different zoning and regulations that you have to go through to have a business on your land. So that's one reason why I had taken it away, because there was just too many loopholes I was jumping through. I also plan to have a mini parking lot over by that slab foundation. That's basically where you come in. I'll be making a parking lot there so that people have a place to park when they come and visit me. I could make a spot for 4 to 8 different people, and instead of them parking in the grass, I'll have these rocks dropped in order for people to have a awesome parking space. Where I live now in West Tennessee, it's a very small town and it has about 250 people that live here. But thank goodness there is a post office that is only 2 minutes away. Because I'm taking my business office out of my tiny house, there will probably be a lot less business videos because I'm no longer working out of this small space. I'm no longer working in my tiny house. So that's just how it's going to have to be now that I have more room, and that's okay. I need more room in my house and I cannot wait to get this office out of here. Now, I did have a foundation poured for my tiny house before I got to the land, and because this is my last place, I'm pretty much setting down roots here. I wanted a stable place for my house to be on. Eventually, I may or may not take off the wheels, but until then, it's on a level foundation and I don't have to worry about it sinking into the mud. I don't have to worry about rocks washing away. I don't have to worry about greenery and bugs getting into my house from the underneath. This foundation was a must for me, and I had it poured before I got there so that it was cured by the time I did get here. I'm also going to start composting on my land, which means I'm going to be buying a tumbler and I'll put dirt in there and I will be putting my waste in there. This will help prevent me from throwing it out in the regular trash, and I will not be composting it on my land, but in a designated bin of itself. So this is what I've wanted to do since getting my composting toilet. I can use the dirt for my gardens. Speaking of gardens, I now have a ton of land to create all my gardens with. So I'm going to have several different little gardens. Namely, one of them are going to be a chicken garden over by the chicken coop. And I will have at least 5, 6, 7, 8 herbs and fruits and vegetables for them to pick out of. That will be their garden. Use it if I want for cooking. But I will have my own gardens and there'll be several of them. I am really excited about that because I have not planted in almost 4 years. I will have my tiny house for 4 years, June 1st. It's getting close and I have not touched plants and the earth and the soil. I want to grow my own food. Lots coming up with all of that, so stay tuned. I will be having a catio built off of my tiny house. From their cat loft window out on the side, there's going to be a huge catio, and this is going to be for them to have fresh air, come in freely whenever they want to go inside and out, and they will probably even be introduced to the chickens. The chickens can walk right up to them and they can be friends and get firsthand experience dealing with each other, whereas now if I open the door, the cats hiss at the chickens because they don't really know what to think about them. Basically, it happened, I found my land by spring like I said I was going to, and I cannot wait to start living my life in my own little homestead. Just a heads up, this will be Tiny Dreamer Homestead in the future. It's Tiny Dreamer Homestead now, but there will be a website. I hope you guys are enjoying my journey, and I hope you guys stay with me. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification every time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Fan with a mirror ceiling on the ceiling. Oh, don't put that their new home. The washer dryer combo, or sorry, don't put that. It was that shed conversion. Don't put that. That shed conversion, like a one door garage door. I don't know how to say that. Don't put that. I don't know what you call them. 47 people. No,